All right. And then there's also another brother, one of his comrades, brother James Keaton.
All right. You sent them the link?
Yeah, I'm sending him the link right now while we speak, as we speak.
Okay, that's good. We live too. I want you to know we live already.
All right, fantastic.
Hold on, let me get these the links out, share the video.
All right, no doubt.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, this is very important. We live too. I want you to know we live already. People need to understand.
All right, fantastic.
Hold on, let me get these links out, share the video.
All right, no doubt.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, this is very important. We live too. I want you to know we live already. People need.
So, Brother Sadat, I guess you said we're not doing any intro today.
No, we don't need no intro. This is serious.
Right. No doubt.
No. So I'm just you know, letting the people know we live on Facebook.
Let me do the same, Sanetta. Let me do the same.
All right.
I'm going to do the same because, like you said, Si, this is very important.
Right.
I mean, we've been talking about this thing for months, and it's here. It's here.
Yeah, there's a lot of people want to talk about me like I'm that important. God damn.
But what people don't understand, Sanetta, is when you live stream, when you go on YouTube and you talk about racism and white supremacy, they don't understand that you're putting your life on the line because you could be identified as a Black identity extremist.
But anybody, yeah, I agree with you. But let me tell you what's really going on. With that, all they doing is trying to silence us from trying to help and give our people information to make them aware of what's going on. So they label us as Black identity extremists. When you got these skinheads out there, when you got the Klan out there, that they can say they talk about killing us. We're not talking about murdering them. All we simply
not at all.
To give our people knowledge and information and to make them aware of this shit that's going on with the government. So they trying to silence us by doing what they do. Let's start there. We are opening up. Peace and Black Power family. This is your brother Sarnetta. And for some reason, I still got that cough. My flu is gone, but the cough is still there. So I hope I could try to find out how to fix that. So Peace and Black Power family. My special guest today is, of course, Dr. Oya, Dr.
Look at you messing me all up, Sarnetta. Dr. Oya,
my throat, I told you.
Oh, okay.
My eye in the building. Beautiful look at my eye today. Look at her hair shining off, showing her hair. Let them see your hair. Put your hair down.
Well, look, I put it down.
That's nice.
The family's not used to. Thank you, Brother Sarnetta. The family's not used to seeing it, but thank you so much, Brother Sarnetta.
Yes. So, Dr. Ma'at, let the family know why are we here, the importance of this information. See, right now, me and you is going to be labeled as a Black identity extremist if we not already. Just simply because we're talking about what's going on. They don't want this.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, talk to them. Let them know.
All right, so let me get out of these groups. I've been trying to get online and post and let everyone know that we're live. Usually, family, I would greet you in the words of peace, but I don't feel so peaceful right now. So I'm going to greet you with the words of Black Power, Abibi Fahode, African Liberation, Harambe, let's pull together. But usually I would say peace and Hotep and Amani and Shalom and all that good stuff. But right now I don't feel so peaceful. On Monday of this week, the Atlanta Black Star released an article entitled FBI Tracks and Arrests Black Identity Extremists, and hardly anyone is talking about it. So I read through this article thoroughly. And what I learned was that there was a brother by the name of Rakem Balogun, who is a very active brother in the community. He is the co-founder of the Huey P. Newton Gun Club. He is a brother that has traveled around the country to teach Black men, women, and children how to defend themselves with and without a weapon. He also has a food, clothing, and shelter program in Dallas, Texas. And I found out that this brother has been watched by the FBI for the last 2.5 years. And they did label him up as a Black identity extremist. And in doing so, they were able to storm into his house on December, I believe it was December the 12th or December the 17th. I have online one of his family members, Sister Kaleke. She's with us. Sister Kaleke, can you tell me, was it on December the 17th or December the 12th? Please let me know, my sister.
December 12th.
Okay, thank you so much for that clarity, my sister. So on December the 12th, they kicked in his door, and she'll be able to provide you with details that I won't go into. I'll allow her to go into it. But they kicked in his house, and they had him standing outside for hours in his underwear. They searched his home. They recovered two weapons, 2 guns, and they said that these were illegal guns because he had a misdemeanor back in 2007, a misdemeanor assault that he got while he was in Tennessee. And now they're holding our brother at a federal facility without bail. Okay. And they're prosecuting him under the BIE, the Black Identity Extremist Program. Now, for those of brothers and sisters under the sound of my voice who are not familiar with the BIE program, Sinetta, do you mind if I share my screen to bring it up so I can show them the document?
Let's get it.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you all. Sinetta, please let me know if the family in the chat room can see my screen, if they could give a thumbs up.
Yes,
that
we see it. We see it.
Okay, so you see it on the panel. Do they see it on YouTube?
Yes, they're going to see it. It's on there.
Okay,
yes.
Fantastic. So on August the 3rd, 2007, the FBI released this document. Now, Sinetta, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this link in the chat room, okay? Because I want brothers and sisters to be able to access this PDF. If you go to BIE redacted, if you Google that, the link will pop up. Okay, so hold on, Sinetta. I'm gonna put this in the chat room for the brothers and sisters so that they can have it. It's in the chat room, family. This is the PDF, okay, that I'm getting ready to go through. It's 12 pages. I'm not going to read I'm not going to read the entire 12 page. I just want to read the executive summary. But they released a memo on August the 3rd, 2017 entitled Black Identity.
Did you put it in the chat? Did you put it in the chat?
Yes, it's in the chat, Brother Sinetta.
I don't see you. I don't see you. Or
It's
is it
in
the back chat?
brother.
No, it's not.
I can go back and
let me go
Yes.
and just type in, just say what's up.
Yes,
Say
yes,
what's
yes.
up
It says, oh, yes, yes, yes. It says, oops, remove any web address. And what I'll do, Simon, is I'll just send it directly.
No, listen, Dr. Ba'a. Say what's up to me, and I'm going to make you a moderator. Then you will be able to put the link in. So say what's up to me in the chat. Just say what's up.
Okay, so I'm going to say what's up.
And once I make you a moderator, you'll be able, there you go. Now, hold on.
All righty.
Let me make you a moderator so that you'll be able to drop the links inside.
All right, I see Sinetta. Sinetta said, hold up. You know, Sinetta, I'm fired up right now thinking about this situation. Peace and power to Brother Ace of Spades Jones. Peace and power to you, brother.
All right, go ahead, Doctor. You should be able to put it in now.
Okay, all right. So that's the link to the PDF so brothers and sisters can access this document.
There you go.
So thank you so much, Brother Sinetta. So this was a document that was released by the FBI on August the 3rd, 2017, entitled Black Identity Extremists, likely motivated to target law enforcement officers. Okay, I'm not going to read again. This is a 12-page document. I'm only going to read one paragraph. All right, which is the executive summary, so you guys can get a gist of this. But please, at your leisure, go through this document, thoroughly scrutinize it, and please share it with every African or Black person that you know. Okay, to bring awareness to this new term that they're using to prosecute Black activists. So the executive summary reads as such. It says that the FBI assesses it is very likely Black identity extremist perceptions of police brutality. Notice the language. They use very, very subjective language. It says the perceptions of police brutality, not that it exists, it's perceived. So anyway, the FBI assesses it is very likely Black identity extremist perceptions of police brutality against African Americans spurred an increase in premeditated, retaliatory, lethal violence against law enforcement and will very likely serve as justification for such violence. The FBI assesses it is very likely this increase began following August the 9th, 2014 shooting of Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri, and the subsequent grand jury November 2014 declination to indict the police officers involved. The FBI assesses it is very likely incidents of alleged, listen to the language, brothers and sisters, that they're using, incidents of alleged police abuse, as if this stuff isn't happening. Anyway, against African Americans since then have continued to feed the resurgence of ideologically motivated violent criminal behavior within the BIE movement. So they're saying that these things are ideologically motivated, meaning the ideology that you subscribe to. So if you subscribe to Black nationalism, if you subscribe to Washita Moors, if you subscribe to Hebrew Israelites, if you subscribe to Pan-Africanism, right? Just based on your subscription to, or you subscribing to an ideology, they're saying that you could be labeled as a BIE because they're saying that your ideology will motivate you, right, to move in violence against the police officers. So it's this violent criminal activity within the BIE movement. The FBI assesses it is very likely some BIEs are influenced by a mix of anti-authoritarian Moorish sovereign citizen ideology in the BIE ideology. The FBI has confidence in these assessments based on a history of violent incidents attributed to individuals who acted on behalf of their ideological, notice that they keep using this word, ideology, their ideological beliefs documented in FBI investigations and other law enforcement and open source reporting. The FBI makes this judgment with the key assumption the recent incidents are ideologically motivated. Okay, so you see that they emphasize the word ideology. All right, so look at this, family. I'm just going to peruse through. I'm not going to read it. It gives the scope note. So it talks about Michael Brown. It talks about, I don't think it goes into Trayvon Martin. It talks about, yes, it talks about Micah Johnson, who was the brother. They say that he shot 11 law enforcement officers, killing 5 of them in Dallas, Texas. So they bring up him. They bring up Michael Brown. They also bring up another brother by the name of Zale H. Thompson. They say he attacked 4 white New York police officers in October the 23rd, 2014. So they bringing up all of these different incidents, right? Look at this. Another person who identified himself as a Moor, right? They say that this incident happened on October 2016. Then you had another incident on 2016. They said Gavin Long. I know that you guys remember this incident that occurred in Baton Rouge, Louisiana in 2016. They say he killed police officers. There was another individual mentioned. Where's his name? His name is Brown, killing of Brown in 20. So an individual reportedly intentionally drove his vehicle toward 3 white officers in Phoenix, Arizona. And they say when they asked him, he belonged to a Moorish group, you know. So then they're looking at this. It says on November the 21st, 2014, the BIE was arrested. So they're using all of these different events, right? Right, Sinetta, that have been involved and that has had some altercation with the police. But what they failed to talk about in this document is the fact that you had more white supremacists murder police officers than Black men. They don't talk about that. Since 1990, since 1990, 51 police officers have been murdered by white supremacists. Okay, you have more white men who pose as a terrorist threat to the United States of America than Black people. And this is data, but they're not going off of data. Everything is driven by politics. So anyway, this is the PDF. Please, family, I put the link in the chat room. Read it as soon as you can. Share it with everyone you know. Okay? So anyway, I also want to show you that the BIE is nothing but Cointelpro. I call it Cointelpro 2.0. Okay? So what they did was essentially they revived Cointelpro under a new name, Black Identity Extremists. And so for brothers and sisters who aren't familiar with Cointelpro, which is short for Counterintelligence Program, it was a program that was launched in the FBI, they say from 1956 to 1971. And the whole objective of this program was to neutralize Black activist parties. Okay, so they neutralized the Black Panther Party. They neutralized even Marcus Garvey. The Black Panthers Party, I'm sorry, the Socialist Workers Party, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, and other different organizations, okay? So, take some time out for brothers and sisters who aren't a student, who may not be aware of Cointelpro. You can go right, to Google, type it in, and you'll get all the information that you need. Now, it says that the Cointelpro programs were exposed. Hold on. It was exposed in 1971 when the Citizens Commission to investigate the FBI burglarized an FBI office in Media, Pennsylvania, stole confidential files, and then released them to the press. And it says that more information regarding Cointelpro was later obtained through the Freedom of Information Act. Lawsuits lodged against the FBI by the BPP and the SWP, and statements by agents who came forward to confess their counterintelligence. But it says, however, many pages of documents remain unreleased, and many released documents are heavily censored, okay, in the final report. And they're saying that these different committees criticize Cointelpro. But what I want to point out to you guys is the tactics that they used during the Cointelpro. They would, here it is right here. It says tactics include intense surveillance, organization infiltration, anonymous mailings, and police harassment. And these were the tactics that they employed during 1956 to 1970, and they're still employing these same tactics today. So BIE, the Black Identity Extremist program, is nothing but the Cointel program revived in 2017, just under a different name. Okay, so you can go on Google and just Google Cointelpro so that you can read additional things. So now let me get to the issue at hand, Brother Sinetta. And I know you said that we have 1 hour because you got something else to do. But I really want to take my time and read this article. It's going to take about 10 minutes because I want the family to understand what's going on with Brother Rakem Balogun. And then after I use this 10 minutes, I'm going to pass the mic to his family, to one of his top organizers, Sister Kalike. I hope that I'm pronouncing my sister's name correctly. She and we were on my channel yesterday, Sinetta, just discussing this matter for about 4.5 hours. And she'll tell you that live on air, I went ahead, I donated, I sent $100, to this brother. I put it on his books because I know, for one, how it feels to be in a federal institution, and everything costs when you're behind a G wall. And I know my brothers and sisters in the chat room who've been there or have relatives who's been behind what we call the G wall understand that everything costs, from commissary to mail to phone calls, to things that you need while you're in there just to survive. And so I just wanted to make sure that this brother has something on his books. And Brother Sinetta, I hope that at the end of the broadcast, if you don't mind, if we show the flyer with his information so brothers and sisters can send him books, can send him letters, can send him money, can donate, to his legal fees. If you don't mind us, showing that flyer at the end of the broadcast, that would be wonderful.
Of course.
Okay, so I'm gonna read this post, or this article that was published by Atlanta Black Star. It was published on February the 5th. All right, I'm gonna put the link in the chat room for brothers and sisters to access it. There it is. It's in the chat room, Brother Sinetta. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this article, family. So bear with me. I just want you guys to get a firm understanding of what's going on with your brother. I mean, we've been talking about this Black Identity Extremist program for the last 6 months, but it's here, and one of us are definitely being prosecuted under this program. And see, I'm an African-centered woman, Sinetta, so I believe what happens to one happens to all. So I felt like it was a family member of mine that got arrested, and that's why I contacted his organization. That's why I went live. That's why I called you, Sinetta. And you said, come on, sister, let's get this done today. You said that the people need to know what's going on so that we can stand behind this brother. So Sinetta, I appreciate you so much for opening your platform and allowing us to get this information out to the people. So thank you so much again, Brother Sinetta.
You're welcome. Let's get it in. You're welcome.
All right. So FBI tracks and arrests Black identity extremists, and hardly anyone is talking about it. So this is the brother on his Facebook page, Brother Rakem He goes by the name also of Brother Rakem Balogun. I hope that I'm pronouncing it correctly. Balagoon. So the article reads as such: 6 months after the FBI issued a report inventing the whole cloth, from the whole cloth, the term Black identity extremists, claiming this group poses a terrorist threat to police, the first apparent case of prosecution of a BIE has emerged. The BIE designation has created concern in the Black community that the FBI is launching a new Cointelpro program targeting Black activists who have committed no crimes. Now, Brother Sinetta, they followed this brother around for 29 months, and they admitted during his bail hearing that he committed no crime during his bail hearing, but yet they say that he is a danger to society, and that's why he was denied bail. Well, wait a minute. How are you a danger to society if you was watched for 29 months and you committed no crimes? So anyway, with more arrests and prosecution of those involved in racial justice movements to follow, this latest chapter represents the FBI that has been familiar to Black people for decades. While the Bureau only recently created the term Black identity extremists, its methods, tactics, and orientation remain the same with regard to Black activists. The FBI has a long tradition of treating Black political movements as terrorists and enemies of the state and a threat to national security and public safety. A conservative white male dominated organization, because the FBI family is 85% Yorugu. All right, let's call it what it is, the Yorugu, 85%. A conservative white male dominated organization, the FBI has taken its cues from anti-right wing propagandists. On December the 12th, 2017, in Dallas, Christopher Daniels, also known as Rakem Balogun, was arrested during a raid on his home and charged with the unlawful possession of a firearm, the result of more than 2 years of FBI surveillance, as Foreign Policy reported. Federal agents held Daniels outside in his underwear and seized 2 firearms the government claims he is barred from owning due to a 2007 misdemeanor domestic assault conviction in Tennessee. Among other items FBI agents took from Daniels' home was a copy of the book Negroes with Guns by civil rights activist Robert Williams. And family, I have this book with me. I'll show you guys after I finish reading this article. It's a fantastic book by Brother Robert F. Williams. It says that Williams was the first Black leader. Now, this is history right here, family. Williams was the first Black leader of his era to support armed resistance to racial oppression. So a lot of people, Brother Sinetta, know about the Black Panther Party arming themselves, and Malcolm X saying that we had to protect ourselves by any means necessary. But it says that he was the first Black leader of his era to support armed resistance to racial oppression. Following the Supreme Court's 1954 Brown versus Board of Education decision, Williams had revived the Monroe, North Carolina chapter of the NAACP amid Ku Klux Klan violence in response to assaults on Black women. He was an advocate of the Black woman Sinetta. So in response to assaults on Black women that were ignored by the police, he organized Black workers and veterans, filed for a chapter from the NRA, and formed the Black Armed Guard. Okay, so this is history, Brother Sinetta, that a lot of people don't know about. It says that the group repelled Klan violence against integration and protected the Freedom Riders. Williams also internationalized the Black struggle as he and his family lived in Cuba, where he wrote his book and produced Radio Free Dixie in China for a number of years. And this is his quote: "I advocated violent self-defense because I don't think you can have a defense against violent racists and against terrorists unless you are prepared to meet violence with violence. And my policy was to meet violence with violence," said Williams, a forefather of the Black Power movement and the Black Panther Party for self-defense. So a lot of people will talk about Bobby Seale. A lot of people talk about Huey P. Newton. They talk about Stokely Carmichael, right? Kwame Ture, but you never hear them talk about Brother Robert Williams, who was the progenitor of the By Any Means Necessary, arming yourself. So anyway, it says that the Huey P. Newton Gun Club, a pro-open carry group of which Daniels is a founder, tweeted that Black political activists are being criminalized, which they are. So he was 100% right and exact. It says, according to foreign policy, according to foreign policy, the FBI became interested in Daniels in 2015 from a video of him participating in a police brutality protest, which was posted on a right-wing conspiracy theory website, InfoWars. Alex Jones, the Austin, Texas-based radio and TV show host who runs InfoWars, is a valuable asset to the Trump administration. Trump uses the conspiracy theorists as a news source, repeatedly called Jones 3 times in recent months, and has praised Jones in his amazing reputation. Jones has claimed the Sandy Hook Elementary School mass shooting and the Boston Marathon bombing were inside jobs and hoaxes, that President Obama was not born in the United States, and the government is making people gay. Jones was the source of Trump's claim that millions of people voted illegally in the 2016 election. I talked to, and this is his quote, I talked to the CIA, FBI connections, Army intelligence connections, former technical head of the NSA, and a bunch of other people that talked to the president, said Jones on his TV program. I'm going to leave it at that. The FBI surveillance of Daniels and other activists extended to Detroit and South Carolina. Because see, Brother Sinetta, this brother, Brother Christopher Daniels, aka Rakem Balogun, this brother would travel around the country teaching Black men, women, and children how to fight against this Yorugu. Okay, so it says FBI surveillance of Daniels and other activists extended to Detroit, South Carolina. The FBI claims that Daniels openly, publicly advocates violence towards law enforcement on his Facebook profile. So family, they're checking out Facebook profile. I know some folks are radical and they want to speak whatever they speak and say whatever they say, you know, but they're using what we post on our social media pages against us. So be mindful. I'm not saying be scared, but be mindful of the things that you say. All right. On his Facebook profile, and posted words of admiration for Micah X. Johnson. I did the same damn thing, who killed 5 Dallas police officers in 2016, and Tremaine Wilborn, who is accused of killing a cop in Memphis, Tennessee. That the FBI learned of Daniels through the right-wing propaganda outlets such as InfoWars is instructive, demonstrating that the Bureau is politicized, but not in the manner in which Trump and his supporters believe it is. Trump loyalists, such as Representative Devin Nunes, attacked the FBI for its alleged surveillance abuses in the Russia investigation only because the agency poses a danger to the authoritarian president who disrespects the rule of law and the systems of checks and balances and is concerned with little more than his own power and ego. Rather, the FBI is reporting to pressure from the right monitoring for 2 years a Black activist within an 11-year-old misdemeanor conviction to prosecute him for a federal gun charge, okay? So they're using something he did 11 years ago to say, we're gonna get you on this federal gun charge. What they're really trying to do, Brother Sinetta, is get this brother off the street because he was training up people, he was organizing, he was electrifying, he was galvanizing the people. And they said, we gotta get this brother out here. Just earlier today, I put on my Facebook page that it is a crime in America to be a Black, heterosexual, intelligent, conscious, active Black man in America. They've made that a crime. So anyway, it says this targeting of Daniels reflects the inherent racial biases of the FBI organizational culture, a culture that finds virtually all shootings by federal agents justified and classifies all victims of justified homicide by police as felons. If convicted, Daniels could face up to 10 years in prison. Got a little bit more left, family. I think about 2 more paragraphs. Bear with me. In August 2007, the FBI published an intelligence report called The Black Identity Extremist, likely motivated to target law enforcement officers. I just put the link in the chat room for those brothers and sisters to have. It says in the report, the FBI said it is very likely Black identity extremist perceptions of police brutality, as if this isn't happening, against African Americans spewed an increase in premeditated, retaliatory, lethal violence against law enforcement and will likely serve as justification for such violence. It says that the report claims this increase is ideologically motivated. Incidents began with the 2014 shooting of Michael Brown in Ferguson and the subsequent failure of a grand jury to indict the police officers responsible for his death. The FBI assesses it is very likely incidents of alleged police abuse against African Americans since then have continued to feed the resurgence in ideologically motivated violent criminal activity within the BIE movement. The FBI assesses it is very likely some BIEs are influenced by a mix of anti-authoritarian, more sovereign citizen ideology and BIE ideology. It says that Black leaders and lawmakers and activists have expressed concern over the new BIE designation, and according to the Center for Democracy and Technology, Citizens' Rights and Civil Liberties, advocates have accused the FBI of taking several distinct incidents and poorly manufacturing a movement from them. And that's exactly what they did. In November, the Congressional Black Caucus met with the FBI Director, Christopher Wray, concerned about the Bureau's troubling history of targeting Black organizations, and that Black activists such as Black Lives Matter will only be criminalized and branded as terrorists and extremists for protesting against police brutality. All right, it says that Representative Cedric L. Richmond, the Congressional Black Caucus chairman, fears BIE is the new FBI version of Cointelpro, referring to the program under J. Edgar Hoover designed to prevent the rise. This is what J. Edgar Hoover said, designed to prevent the rise of a Black messiah who could unify and electrify the militant Black nationalist movement and monitor, infiltrate, and destroy civil rights organizations. The history of the federal government coming down on Black justice movements as a threat to national security and conflating Black activists with domestic terrorists is a long one. Hoover, who targeted Black leadership since Marcus Garvey had an agency, sent a letter to Martin Luther King urging him to commit suicide. And see, Sina, that's not what we talk about. When Martin Luther King come up, people never talk about the number of threats he received and how the FBI was trying to kill him, and they did ultimately assassinate him in 1968. But we don't talk about that Martin Luther King. We talk about the I Have a Dream crap. But anyway, and called the Black Panther Party the most dangerous threat to the internal security of this country. Hold on, y'all. We almost done. We almost done, family. I'm trying to pull it down. Okay, so this is the last paragraph, I believe. Hold on 1 second, y'all. My computer, for some reason, is freezing on me. I don't know if it's because I'm on. Okay, here we go. The terrorist designation serves to undermine Black activism and anti-racism movements, as Patrice Cullors and Asha Bandali, authors of When They Call You a Terrorist, a Black Lives Matter memoir, notes that young Black activists are called terrorists and receive death threats. She says that I think what we've seen over the last 4.5 years as this movement has grown is continued, backlash from the right and all right. And the first time, we were called terrorists, I remember seeing our names on Bill O'Reilly's show and our faces and thought that that was frightening because I know who watches Bill O'Reilly. Can Coulter recently said Democracy Now! The truth is that the threat to police does not come from the Black community. Here we go. It says that the threat from police, it certainly doesn't come from Black activists. It certainly doesn't come from us. It comes from typically aggrieved, angry, crazy, whatever we want to call it, white men, Bandel added, highlighting the need for Black people to tell their stories to avoid the rewriting of history by those who are lying. Okay, it says that the FBI focus on Black identity extremists comes as white men emerge as America's preeminent domestic terror threat, killing more Americans than Islamic terrorists. I'm gonna read that again. White men are killing more Americans than Islamic terrorists. It says, according to a report from Anti-Defamation League, white supremacists have killed 51 police officers since 1990, as opposed to the 11 officers killed by left-wing groups. But you don't see, Brother Sinai, that they don't have a white identity extremist program going on, right? Even though the data shows that white supremacists have killed more officers than black people, and that white men poses the greatest domestic terror threat, killing more Americans than Islamic terrorists. Okay, it says while white supremacists are infiltrating law enforcement across the country, a situation of which the FBI is aware and investigating, yet while the FBI has designated black identity extremists as a terror threat, it has not similarly identified white extremist groups who are killing the vast majority of police, suggesting politics rather than data are at play. At a November 2017 oversight hearing before the House Judiciary Committee, Representative Karen Bass pressed Attorney General Jeff Sessions on this racial discrepancy. One more paragraph, family. Sinetta, are you there?
I'm here, sis.
Okay, this is the last paragraph, I promise. Oh, yes, 2 paragraphs right here. All right, here it is, 2 paragraphs. And this last sentence, Brother Sinetta, applies to you, Dr. Boyce Watkins, Tariq Nasheed, Umar Johnson, and any of these other brothers who have huge platforms. So I'm gonna get to that. But it says, underscoring a troubling history on race, strained relations between police and communities of color, and a legacy of implicit bias in law enforcement, the FBI has a black people problem. We already know that. The agency is less diverse than it was 2 decades ago, and the percentage of black and Latino agents in this white law enforcement agency has decreased over the years, with a dominance of white men at the top, perpetuating a cycle and making the agency a target of discrimination lawsuits from African Americans, Latinos, and women over the years. The Bureau is 83.4% white, 6.5% Latino, 4.5% Asian, and 4.4% Black, according to the FBI website. Meanwhile, the FBI is also setting up a task force to monitor social media. This is what I was talking about to you guys earlier, all right? The FBI is also setting up a task force to monitor social media, which, given the agency's history of singling out Black movements, poses dangers for Black activists who exercise their First Amendment rights on Facebook, Twitter, and other platforms. Given the FBI report and the first apparent BIE prosecution in Dallas, Black activists may have reason for concern they will be next. Anyone, all right, so I added this for you too, brother. Anyone who posts his or her thoughts on police violence on social media, particularly someone with a high profile and influence, is susceptible to FBI surveillance. Did you hear that, Brother Sai?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So that means, Brother Sai, and let me stop sharing my screen. People think this is a joke, Sinetta. People think when you get on YouTube and you spread this information that this is a game. You're literally putting your life and your freedom on the line to give people information. Mm-hmm. You literally could be labeled as a Black identity extremist, and someone could come kicking in your door with your wife and your children because you want to deliver information to the people. This is not a game.
And then, Doctor, we got to ask ourselves. Put your phone on mute.
Okay.
We got to ask ourselves, is it really worth it? Is it really worth it putting your life on the line for your people when you see how they treat you in the end? I mean, man, if they would have came out with this years ago, they damn sure would have had me locked up under the basement. You seeing how I was going in out there on the ground, suited and booted every day. They would have had me. But we need to ask ourselves, is it worth it putting ourselves on the line for our people? What are our people prepared to do when they come and get our brother? Are they going to support you? Are they going to criticize you like they did our sister, Ayimpa Sekmet? She just went through the same thing over like 2 years ago, and she beat her case. You see? But what happened? She gets home and people mock her and criticize her and beat her down. Is it worth it fighting for some of these niggas that don't care about us, man? You know? So we got to really evaluate that a whole lot better now, because I have done so much for my people, and look at what they do and look at the people that support it. So what I'm saying is, this is nothing but just another scared tactic to get black people to stop trying to stand up and fight for our people. That's what this is. It's nothing but the whole new Cointelpro revised. Right now, just by us talking about this, what's going on, they got us already on that list. I want you to know that, Dr. Ma'at.
Oh, I'm thoroughly aware of it, brother. I'm thoroughly aware of it.
You're gonna have these troll niggas that's gonna come up here, and because see, we gotta understand, these are FBI niggas that's on these two channels criticizing us for no reason. When you go and look on their channel, you won't see nothing that's productive, that's giving our people information and knowledge. They are so busy worrying about what I'm doing, what you doing, what other people doing, but you don't see them fighting the beast. So I want to turn this over to the people that know them so they could give us more information. Go ahead, Dr. Ma'at, introduce the family.
Yes, I introduced the family. We have with us, I don't want to call him brother Yafu. Oh, I always mess your name up, brother. Said, unmute your mic and tell me your name again, because I don't want to call out your other name.
Yeah, I'm Rakem Balogun. I'm legally Rakem Balogun, representative of Guerrilla Mainframe. I'm the comrade, close brother to Rakem Balogun.
Absolutely. And we also have with us Sister Kaleka. Sister, I hope that I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Unmute your mic, my sister.
Yes, my name is Kaleka Baruti Shakur. I'm the director of George Jackson University, and I am the spokesperson for the Free Rakem Balogun Defense Committee.
Speak, my sister. Speak, my sister. You have the platform. Right now, you have over 700 people watching you live. Sister, tell us what's going on and tell us what you need.
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank you for doing such an excellent job with covering the information. We may need to recruit you as part of being a part of the defense committee to travel different places and talk about this thing that so much needs to be talked about. I can say that I thank you on behalf of myself, on behalf of Guerrilla Mainframe, on behalf of Geronimo Tactical, and also on behalf of Rakem Balogun. Also, thank you, Brother Sonetta, for allowing us to use your platform to talk about these things. I think that I can speak as I am Rakem Balogun and answer Sonetta's question to say if it's worth it. Myself, and I believe truly 100% that Rakem Balogun would also say that it's worth it. It is so worth it to try to continue to organize our people in spite of the many contradictions that we do have. Being that there are over 1 billion African people in the world, we may not be able to win over everyone, but it's damn sure worth the try. So I just wanted to start off by saying that you did cover a great capacity of information in regards to the history of Rakim, being a part of Guerrilla Mainframe, food, clothing, and shelter programs, community health and wellness programs, armed self-defense programs, training, military strategy, and just being able to protect ourselves using hand-to-hand combat. This was the person that he was. A lot of the times, he felt that he may not have wanted to go out and do certain things, but it was his duty being a part of Guerrilla Mainframe, and Guerrilla Mainframe being a part of the African community that works towards liberation, and also have at the basis of its platform socialism. But that socialism, it starts with intercommunal type of work. So they did and they still do a lot of work inside of the communities. But the only thing that was not touched upon that I want to touch upon, because you touched everything as regards to the case and the classifications, I want to let people know exactly how they did this, and also what they're doing going inside of the courtroom. Um, what they did was this. Like she said, they followed him for 29 months. In following him, they saw him carrying arms, firearms. When they initially they saw him in Austin at an open carry armed demonstration. At least that's what they reported. They probably even followed him there. But according to the FBI statement that was said on the stand by the agent who was in charge, he said that he first spotted him there in Austin, and he was doing open carry.
Hold on 1 second, my
And they
sister.
said,
Hold on 1 second, sis. Sinetta, while she's talking about him, can you show those pictures again so people can know exactly who we're talking about?
I got you, sister. Go ahead.
All right, go ahead, sis.
yes, ma'am. So yeah, so they said that's where they first spotted him, admittedly. So here he was carrying at that particular time. He was carrying along with other members of the Huey P. Newton Gun Club, different members of Black Riders, and other individuals and formations who had formed a unified front to demonstrate open carry, to demonstrate their opinions and voices, exercising their freedom of speech, their First Amendment right and human right, to confront police terrorism, because there's just so much of it. So they used that time to do that, and that's when they said that they first spotted him. And then they continued to follow him through social media. On their social media, they did gather the things that you mentioned, so I won't repeat those things because you did such a good job at saying those things. And they will use those things in their exhibits to try and prosecute him. I will say, because it's important that it's known, that a plea of not guilty has been entered into the courts. So that's where we're at right now. So what the agent said was, we got these exhibits, we saw him in Austin, and we continue to follow his social media to find out where his next move was. Where was he going? So they said that they followed him to Detroit, Michigan, and they got that information because they saw it on his social media. Normally, when we and others do programs or events and so forth, we try our best to use platforms to inform the people of what's going on. So he did post that he will be going to Detroit to do a conference there. So they followed him there to the airport. Once he got to the airport, he checked in his luggage with Spirit Airlines. With Spirit Airlines and any other airlines, inside of your check-in, your luggage, you are allowed to have a firearm as long as it is not loaded and it is in a hard case. So he properly checked everything in. And one thing about Rakim, let me just say this. Rakim is very intelligent. Rakim has 3 children. Rakim would not compromise himself. He would not compromise his 3 children. And above all else, he would not compromise his organization. So when he do things like this, like open carry and travel and so forth, and bear his arms openly, he's doing it in the knowledge that he's safe to do that because he's within his right. So let me make that clear, that according to Rakim, he's a sound mind and body. So he wouldn't just be doing things all willy-nilly because he would not compromise his people. So he checked in his luggage, and as he was going through TSA, he had a bit of difficulty going through TSA. Nonetheless, he did make it through. You know, the checkpoint was not just a regular search like everybody else that goes through. It took some time, but he made it through. And when he made it through, he ended up missing his flight to Detroit and had to catch a later flight. And once he got to Detroit on November 17th, he discovered that his luggage was now missing. So he just went through the proper procedure of, claiming that lost luggage. And he went about his business. He's a warrior, so he'll wear the same clothes for 3, 4, 5 days if he had to. It was nothing to him. The work must go on. So he came back from Detroit and he went home, went to work, went about his regular routine, and his luggage was returned to him. Now, here's what they did. They stole his luggage while he was in Detroit. And when they stole his luggage, they went inside after these 2 years. After these 2 years, they still trying to find something. So they said, let's go inside this luggage. They went inside the luggage and they found the case with the firearm that wasn't loaded and so forth. So let us do all that we can. Let's try to find some information on him. So they found out that he had a misdemeanor charge in 2007. Now, this misdemeanor charge in state law, in most states, you are able to have a firearm. Like if it's, there's a statutes of limitations and cases vary, but you're allowed to have a firearm. And it says, especially if you're using it for self-defense and it's in your home, you're allowed to have it. And some people can travel with it, some people can't. But what the kicker is this: under federal law, in any time, it could be 10 years, 20, 30, 60 years from now, if the federal government, for any reason, decides that they think that you should not have a firearm, then you are in unlawful possession of that firearm. So since he had a firearm and they have these exhibits that the sister mentioned earlier, this is the thing that says, well, because of his state of mind or his being or his ideas, this person, this brother, this man should not have possession of a firearm. So that is the charge. Now, another kicker on top of that. So he get to Dallas, go back to his regular routine. They're still watching him, mind you. Goes to work, take care of his family, do community programs, and he get a knock at the door from Spirit Airlines. Spirit Airlines delivers the luggage to him with everything intact, from underwear to the firearm inside of the case. Hello, sir. Here's your luggage. Sorry about the inconvenience. Thank you. Have a great day. Okay. After that, 3 weeks later, they kick in his door at 4 o'clock a.m., just like they did Fred Hampton. They kick in his door, not a warning, not a knock, not a phone call. And then they kick in the door and they say, we have a warrant for your arrest. And we need this item. It's for this 38 Taurus handgun that you have. We have a warrant for that. And I have the warrant in my possession. The warrant also has a checklist of different items that they wanted to seize. So they could not leave that house without their filling their checklist. And on the checklist, they had certain things like other weapons, any type of accessories, tools that are pertaining to firearms, any books with ideological beliefs or practices, or anything to do with military training. And like the sister mentioned, the book Negro with Guns, they seized that from his properties. So now another kicker on top of that kicker is this. From a reliable source, we found out that they later said that the airlines called them to the airport and reported the handgun inside of the bag. Now, my question is, and this is how we know it's BIE classification, because the thing is that as they're making this presentation inside of the courtrooms, the prosecution and so forth, as they're making these presentations, they're not saying out loud and outright that this is BIE classification. But this is how we know it's BIE classification. And they would never do that. They would never do that. But the thing is why would you come to a person's house, kick in the door 3 weeks later for something that you knew they wasn't supposed to have, that they had broken the law for, according to you? Why not arrest him?
I'm sorry, right now I have another show I got to do at 7 o'clock on the dot. Can you wrap it up? And we can do a part 2 like later on tomorrow. It's probably same time. We can continue and finish this off. But I have another show scheduled at 7 o'clock.
Yeah. So just to wrap it up, yes, it is BIE classification. Yes, it is as an attack on African people to not only take our strongest out from the streets, from their communities, but it is to destabilize our programs. It's to destabilize our efforts, just like the sister said with Cointelpro. But he goes to trial on March 26th, and we are asking everyone to please support our brother. We still are looking for legal representation. We do have a pick of lawyers that we are trying to streamline and select one. But we still need support for those legal funds and things of that nature.
Do you know if they give the brother a bail and all that? Did they give him a bail?
There was no bail. It was denied because they said that he's a danger to the community.
All right, I'm sorry to hear that, my sister. Are y'all available tomorrow, same time, part 2, and let's get it in?
Absolutely.
Hey, Sinetta, but before we go, I want to show this. I want to share my screen and show this flyer for the family.
Go ahead, doctor.
And we can get on out of here. So hold on now. Let me share this flyer with the family. Family in the chat room, please let me know if you can see this flyer.
Yeah, we see it. I see it. Once you see it.
So it says political prisoner free Rakem Balogun. Says write and send money directly for commissary. This is his information. Legal name or given name, Christopher Daniels, ID number 56601-177, FCI, Seagoville, Federal Correctional Institution, P.O. Box 9000, Seagoville or Segoville, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, my accent, Texas 75159. And then here is the link. If you guys want to donate or send money to him directly, because I know that brothers and sisters Sinetta sometimes are apprehensive about GoFundMe links and Cash Apps and all that stuff, and you want to make sure that this brother gets his money, you can go right to www.bop.gov. And when you go there, click on Find Inmate, you enter his name, you enter his ID number, and it allows you to send him money 2 different ways. You can send it through MoneyGram, or you can send it through Western Union. If you send it through Western Union, I know for me, when I sent $100, there was an $8 fee. So you will pay a fee, but he gets it same day. All right. So family, we need you. We need you to donate.
We need to support our brother. I'll definitely be doing something tomorrow. I'll be definitely making a donation.
Thank you.
And this is the time where we put our foot forward. Let's see all the talkers, all the people that like to talk about, oh, we need to do this. Well, now we got somebody that's been doing it, and you already see his history. He's out there putting it on the line, fighting for Black people. Now is our time to fight for our brother. Let's fight for him through letters. We need letters, because trust me, prison is definitely lonely. So you need letters. You need stuff, encouragement to keep his spirit up. We got to keep his spirit up, family. Whether we sending him money so he can get commissary, let's be there for our family. I will be definitely donating tomorrow morning. And that's it. If you have any problem, contact me. I'll contact Dr. Ma'at and we'll get the information. It don't come through my hands. It don't go to Ma'at. It go directly to the brother.
That's right.
So
that's
if
right.
you're afraid of your credit card, you can go out there and get you a throwaway. You know, get a throwaway card and use that. But one thing for sure is that we got to support those who put themselves on the line for us. That's all I got to say.
Right. And Brother Sinette, I just want to add this, that when George Zimmerman, when he was charged with killing Trayvon Martin, I believe that within 24 hours, this man had over $100,000 sitting in a GoFundMe account for his defense. Surely, and the sister Kalike shared with me that the lawyers are asking for $27,000. Can you imagine, Brother Sinetta, if just 1,000 of us gave $20 or $25, how much this brother his legal fees would be paid for? So, brothers and sisters, do what you can. And I again, and Sister Kalike, who's online, and her comrade, the brother that's online, they can vouch and tell you that I'm not asking people to do something that I haven't done. Please support this brother. Send the money directly to him, like Brother Sinetta said. You ain't got to send it to Dr. Ma'at. You don't have to send it to Brother Sinetta. The information is on the screen where you can send it directly to him. And once the family secures a lawyer, what we're going to do, or they have their eyes on a lawyer, then we'll put up the information where if you don't feel comfortable donating to the GoFundMe or what so have you, you can send it directly to his attorney. You know, so we're not playing games with the money, family. We need you. We love you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. We will be back on next week. I'm sorry, not next week. Tomorrow. To do a part. Same time tomorrow. Same time tomorrow. We back on.
All right.
Love you so much.
Thank y'all for coming in. Thank y'all for giving us this information. Peace and Black Power. We out.
Thank you too.
All right.